Hi, I'm Jeff with Precision Reflex Parts. I'm here with Greg today. We're going to show you how to install our complete vent assemblies, a CBA 2110-73. Greg, what's this fit?
Fits a 73 to 79 F-Series pickup. Also fits a 78 and 79 Ford Bronco. You do have options of clear or green tinted glass.
Check our website for complete make, model, year information. Let's get started. All right, to get the door panel off, first thing you're gonna have to do is 2 screws by the handle, and then there'll be a screw behind the actual door pull here. And there'll be one last screw in the crank arm for the window. Now it's important to note the angle of the actual crank arm with the window down so you get it in the proper orientation when you put everything back together. Alright, Greg's going to work on getting the door panel off, but it's important to note as these door panel is held on by these little metal spring clips. They tend to rust or break over time. The good news is you can get them at Amazon or any of your favorite hardware stores. And one other thing to note is that door panel is going to be old plastic. Take your time so you don't crack it or break it at all. Alright, you notice the old door panel, like I noted, this actually broke off, or was broken before we took the panel off. So Greg, what's a good way that we can maybe fix this?
We'll probably use some 2-part epoxy and then reattach this to the door panel itself. We'll go around the other mounting areas and double check, make sure that they're not cracked and compromised.
Alright, next step is we're going to take this paper off. As you can see, it's been off at least once or twice before. That'll give us access to the bottom bolt that's on the bottom of the vent channel here to help us get the vent out. Greg, what size socket are you using?
We're using a 7/16 on a 1/4-inch drive.
Alright, with that bolt out of the way, next up is to remove the belt lines. Greg's gonna go ahead and get these belt lines out. The thing to note here with the belt lines is you cannot save them. They're one-time use, especially the old ones. They're going to be crusty. They're probably going to break apart in pieces. This is where you're going to want a WFK 2110-73, which will be the inners and outers for both doors. Now I'm just applying some pressure to the glass to get to the inside of the door. This gives Greg a little bit more room to get those clips popped out. One other thing to note here, check your flange here, because as Greg is pulling these out, the metal clip set can sometimes affect this flange and make it bow out or get a little wavy because this isn't as strong as you think it is. So check, make sure it's straight and it's at the appropriate angle. That'll make your life a lot easier when you put in a new belt line kit. All right, Greg, what are we doing here now?
What we're going to do is we are going to tape off the door for protection or the removal of the vent. The way we have to turn it, we don't want to take precautions. We've already removed the lower fastener for the vent. Now we have to take out these 3 screws along the A-pillar of the door.
As you can see, this one doesn't give you a lot of area, so really got a little shorty screwdriver. The shorter the better.
Now, as I loosened that last screw, the vent did fall out of the door. The last piece we have to remove is the glass run along the top. Let's go to the corner, remove the vent. Jeff is going to tilt that back. And then I am going to tilt this door glass forward. A little more, Jeff. And remove the door glass from the regulator roller. I'm going to take the door glass and put it in the bottom of the door, and now we'll focus on removing the vent from the door shell.
So I turn it to the outside like this. I got right here, brackets right here where you gotta just kind of push against the door. Hopefully give us a little ring that. You get it out. Cool. Our new vent assembly will not come with a glass front end and division post. You can transfer your old one if it's in good enough shape, or we're going to put a new one in, which is our GRP 211073. Yep, so all I'm doing is squeezing it together and then pushing it into the channel. It'll be even with the division post like that, and you just continue your way all the way down. Now in our research and development of the vent windows, and throughout the numerous doors we had, we noticed it was hard to get the vents out, the OEM vents. You had to spread the door panel like we just did on our example here. So what we did to combat that is we made our L bracket narrower, so it's a little bit easier to put in the door. Again, to reiterate, that we made our bracket narrower to ease it into the door. Slides right in. I'm going to go ahead and turn it, but now I have to make sure, watching the paint, angle it up here so that Greg can get the door glass back on the regulator.
Okay, the door glass is attached to the regulator. I'm going to maneuver around the vent so I can bring it backwards into the rear glass run. And now we'll finish installing the vent.
So again, I'm watching the paint.
Good down here.
Good. Now, the seal needs to be untucked. You make sure that these are tucked in right here, the extra flaps that weren't on the OEM part.
Go ahead and push that inside one down. Okay.
Now the outside isn't quite in, but we'll take our weather strip installation tool. So you see it's kind of out here, so I'm going to take my weather strip installation tool. Kind of force in the Greg's going to pull on it a little bit. There you go. Kind of work it down. All right, we're good. I'm going to make sure that we're on the outside of the door here, which we are. And we can go ahead and reinstall our 3 screws on the A-pillar and the bolt on the bottom.
I'm going to start this lower attaching bolt. I don't have it tightened up, I just got it started. Now I'm going to install these A-pillar screws.
Good. Good.
Jeff has got the screw holes lined up.
Now these do come pre-drilled, but they're painted after they're drilled. That's why Greg's fighting some of the paint to break through the screw, and it becomes easier.
I'm not going to tighten them up. I'm just going to get them started and run down a little bit.
Right. Right.
Now we want to make sure that all the rubber areas are untucked and not to the outside of the door. Make sure this little rubber flap on the top here is tucked in between the vent and the door shell. We'll go ahead, install this section of glass run. I don't have the screw into the handle, but I will go ahead. We'll make sure the door glass is in both glass runs, and we'll run it all the way up.
As you can see, there's no binding. It's going up good. Now we can finish tightening up the A-pillar screws and the bottom bolt. Yes.
Jeff has the A-pillar screws tightened, so now what I want to do is roll the door glass down.
Yeah.
And make sure that this bottom screw hole is adjusted so it does not restrict the operation of the door glass.
Okay.
Now the vent is fastened into the door.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and put the belt lines back in. Greg's starting it. Again, we got them taped off so we don't scratch the paint, because now you're going down. And you get it tucked behind the glass run here. So you want to make sure all the clips line up to the holes before you push it all the way down.
The outer is installed.
I'm going to do the same thing for the inner. Now I'm just holding back the glass a little bit to give Greg a little more room.
Now you can see the clips better than I can.
Oh, hang on. All right, we want to roll up the window, Greg, make sure everything works.
See? Okay, I'll leave the door glass up just a little bit to make sure that these other clips are fully seated.
There you
And
go.
now we can turn our attention back to the door panel.
All right, we're going to go ahead and put some new clips into the door panel. Greg fixed it the best we could. And now we're going to go ahead and just use new clips on all locations so that we can install it back on the door. Alright, Greg went ahead and made a new dust cover because the old one's kind of ripped up. So we're going to put them both on. And now we're getting ready to install a door panel. Greg, what's the best way to do this?
What we're going to do is we're going to bring the panel up to the door shell. We're going to kind of locate the top clips into the holes in the door shell. And just push it into place. And we'll do this around the perimeter of the door. We've got the door panel installed. We're going to go ahead and put this armrest cover in. Okay, the door panel. And the last piece we'll put on is the window crank. Of course, paying attention to the orientation when we removed it. Go ahead and just give it an operation.
Now with everything back installed, this completes our installation of our complete vent window assemblies for the 4 trucks.